ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः ध्याये शिरस्थं गुरुं ध्याये शिरस्थं गुरुं ध्याये शिरस्थं गुरुं
शुभम शुभम गुरुजी प्रणाम
गुरुजी
शुभम आचार्य
शुभम गुरुजी
शुभम एनी क्वेश्चंस
No, Acharya ji.
okay shall we begin now
Yes, Acharya ji.
okay great last time we have covered some vrittis of mind we have covered praman viparyaya vikalpa okay praman viparyaya vikalpa we have covered
Yes,
everyone
Acharya ji. Yes.
okay then two are remaining one is nidra which is deep sleep and deep sleep has been defined as abhava pratyaya alambana vritti nidra abhava pratyaya alambana vritti nidra. Sleep is a vritti, a tendency of mind which is rooted in its voidness, emptiness, nothing is there, kind of absence, which is perceived as absence. Any experience of this vritti? Everyone has it. The best part of this vritti is that you don't recognize it when you are in it. And let me tell you the finer point. There are so many vrittis, you'll have to just investigate. In fact, you don't recognize many vrittis when you are in it. Because what happens is vritti sarupya. When you are just about to get angry, you recognize you are going to get anger. But once you become angry, you can't recognize you are angry. When you are about to sleep, you recognize you are going to sleep, but when you sleep, you don't recognize you have slept. Right? Once you put your head down and try to think and brainstorm, you know when you are doing, you're beginning to, you know that you are going to brainstorm, which is vikalpa, which is creating, igniting the faculty of recycling all the stuff which you have in the name of creativity. But once you're doing it, you are into it. You don't recognize you are imagining it. Look at it. Because it is vritti sarupya. Vritti sarupya means you become one with the vritti. Every vritti. You become one with the vritti. This is called vritti sarupya. And when we have become vritti, we don't remain. Only vritti remains. Correct?
True.
When we have become anger, when we have become lust, when we have become jealousy, when we have become delusion, then there is no place for us. We don't exist. Only the vritti exists. So what Patanjali probably is referring to, that vritti nirodha, means you should be available. You should be there, not the vrittis. And somehow, if you can develop that faculty, that higher level of intellect, I'll call it a skill, that you don't be one with the vritti, but vrittis just continue to exist. The way they are functioning, they function, but you stay available in all the vrittis. Then vritti nirodha has happened for you. Is it not? Is it not? So look at it. It is important. It is important. Just think about right now what kind of vritti you are engaged in. Just think about it. Are you listening? Is it pramana? Is it imagination? Or in between you are slipping, moving? Because what we have not discussed is chitta bhumikas, chitta bhumis. All through we have discussed about chitta vritti nirodha, but we have not discussed about the chitta bhumis. Chitta bhumis means the stuff, the mind stuff, which the qualitative understanding of the mind stuff which you have. Right? So every vritti can be part of certain types of chitta or certain types of mind stuff. And I think, Shuchi, you can just describe those of mind stuffs quickly.
Actually,
Chitta
it
bhumi.
takes
No problem. It takes time, no problem.
so all those 6, I would say, the qualities of mind.
Okay, go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead, tell them.
the
6 or
anger.
5.
Yes.
No, not that. Not that.
Okay.
Chitta bhumi is something else. Chitta bhumi is something else. Chitta bhumi is the quality of mind, quality of chittam, which is, Alpana, probably you have understood what I mean.
Yeah, Chariji, it's just that it's hard to remember. Yeah, I know we remember we talked about it in Shiv Sutra also. So you're that.
Okay. All yogis fail who have taken course in this. Okay, no problem. Let me just give my list. If there is anything left, please add. Okay.
Yeah.
Prakshipta, vikshipta.
Oh, Acharya, I can
Yeah.
talk.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you don't understand what I meant?
Mood.
Mind stuff.
So kshipt, Acharya, kshipt, vikshipt, moodha. So I think this is kshipt, moodha, vikshipt. And then nirodha is the last one, ekagra in between.
Okay.
6 actually.
How many?
Kshipt,
Alpana?
5.
5.
5. That is what, when you said 6, I immediately
Yeah,
corrected as
yeah.
5. Anyway.
I think Acharya, it's the language probably, the way we've learned.
So what
Shift-
way you have
shift
learned?
mood
If you have-
ekagra.
No, I think आपने बोला ना चित्त भूमि. So
Chitta bhumi. Yes, this is chitta bhumi.
these are the 5. Yes.
Yeah. These
So
are the
kshipt, moodha, vikshipt, ekagra, nirodha.
okay. Begin with mood.
Nirodha.
Begin with mood. Begin with mood and go to the niruddha.
Nirodha.
And in between there are the kshipta, vikshipta, ekagra. Okay. Now let us just understand, maybe later on, anytime during this discussion we cover it, but roughly let us understand what kind of mind we carry. Okay. So first is moodha. Moodha means the one who is unable to comprehend, has very low intellect, it is sluggish, loaded with tamas, lot of inertia. That is called a moodha. Unable unable to reason out, a kind of inert mind, the kind of person who isn't ready to move, who isn't ready to change, who isn't ready to accept anything new. He is okay the way he is. And probably not by choice, only by the design. Because Mudha and Niruddha, they seemingly from the outside look the same. Okay. Niruddha means the one who has complete control over his mind, and the one who has gotten complete control over mind, he knows the futility of all sort of activity. He has risen over the cause and effect cycle, and therefore he refuses to move. It's his choice. Seeing the futility of it, right? But the Mudha is the one who doesn't have capacity to move. So both are same. A Mudha may not reply to your questions because he doesn't know. But a Jnani in the state of Niruddha may not reply to your questions completely understanding the futility of answering it. So this is exactly the same. And even in Shastras, even in the scriptures, it is said, you can't distinguish unless until the person starts moving his limbs and tongue. You can't differentiate. The one falling in the first category, you can find out how he is behaving, how he is talking. And the last category of Niruddha, which means full control on mind. It's the mind, quality of mind I'm saying, the overall quality of mind. Mudha means inert and Niruddha means completely alert, but still there is difference in it. The stillness and inertness has a qualitative difference. So these are two. In between, there are three. One is known as Kshipta, another one is called Vikshipta, and the third one is called Ekagra. Kshipta means ordinary mind which is still not being able to gather that much strength, but it is capable of taking decisions. It does have tendencies to adopt. It does have tendencies to move from here and there, his attention span, etc. And Vikshipta is the one who is loaded with the goals and who is loaded with the desires also. So in the Kshipta, there are no heavy load of desires. Okay. So Mudha is only for the sake of life. He is living for the life itself, for the food, for the basic needs he get, he is okay. Right. Kshipta is a little bit higher than that, has some motivations. But Vikshipta is the highest problematic mind, which most of us are in. That is the state. We are capable of doing so much, and our mind also supports that. But capable of doing what? Only if we permit our energies to stay focused, streamlined in a particular direction for a particular time period, then only the things get done. But forgetting that principle of getting work done, while having the capacity to get it done, such a mind which keeps jumping from one idea to another, not pursuing it long enough, fully loaded with energy, can't sit at one branch like a monkey, is a real monkey mind. Monkeys are very energetic, by the way. So are you. So is your mind. But they lack only one quality, that they can't pursue one idea, one action for a prolonged period of time. Their mind is capable, but such people live as mind. Okay? Such people live as mind. And the next stage is ekagra, means concentrated. Now, this is the quality needed to succeed in life. So you begin from vikshipta, move to ekagra, being concentrated, the capacity which you develop over time. The ekagrata can be acquired. It is rather acquired. The mind which was vikshipta can become ekagra and can also become niruddha. Completely still but alert. You see, not inactive, completely alert, but still active, fully perceiving what is. That's the niruddha state. Right? So these are the 5 chitta bhumis. Okay. Now these 5 chitta bhumis will have 5 vrittis, and therefore you will have 25 types of chitta vrittis. Because chitta is different, vritti is different. Understand? So not one type. So for a moodha, all these vrittis will reflect in a different way. For a niruddha, it will reflect in a different way. Understand now? So while we say there are 5 types of vrittis, but then again we know that there are, based on the quality of Sattva, Raja, Tama, the 5 vrittis exist. Right? 5 vrittis exist and 5 chitta bhumis exist. The mind stuff exists. And so 5 into 5 becomes 25. Okay. Understand? 5 into 5. You know, 5 type of minds are there, and then each mind can have 5 type of vrittis. So not everybody's nidra is same, by the way. Not everybody's smriti is same. It has a qualitative difference. The way it is perceived within that mind. Right? Right? To live successfully and keep our life in a quite balanced state while being completely engaged in this life, we should have that higher faculty of understanding the prana. Okay? Right? Prana. Until that point, successful people in the world and successful people in spirituality are all the same. Till that point. Right? Because all successful people in the outer world do have ekagra, disposition of mind is concentrated. Correct? They understand and collect their energies well and deploy them for a purpose. So far, there is no difference in a spiritual or so-called material. Only beyond that now the direction of application of attention will decide which direction you're moving, which field you should be, or which particular state you can achieve based on the application of this kind of mind. Internal, experiential, or some achievement in the outer. Right? Okay. So, abhava pratyaya alambana vrittihi nidra. In the absence of all, what remains is called sleep, nidra. Okay. Yeah, there is nothing ideal. You have everything which is ideal for you. There is nothing called ideal blood pressure, ideal brain wave, ideal weight, ideal height, ideal sugar. Get rid of this notion, please. There's nothing ideal. You don't have to aim for a particular range of blood pressure, sugar. You know, there are so many parameters. Brain waves, sleep, requirement of sleep, height, weight, nothing. Each one has a different category. That is ideal for him. He should recognize his own ideal, not the what others are going to tell you, what doctors are going to tell you is average, not the idea. Okay. So they want you to go to the average. By that logic, many of you will have to get to the surgery tables to increase your height. Some of you may have to be even trimmed a little bit to reach to the ideal height. And I have this example, I've given this example many times. And once again, I tell you that Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, M.K. Gandhi, who is also known as father of nation in India, he had his ideal blood pressure 220 by 110, 110, 220 by 110. If he would have been given these medications, India would have not become free, I know. Understand? So please don't run for that ideal. Look whether you are comfortable with that kind of regular sleep, quality of sleep, duration of sleep, everything. Now, we can't talk much of sleep here, but there can be a whole session on sleep itself, I can tell you. Sleep itself has too much to give you, because there are so many things, so many tendencies which you create when you're about to go to sleep. They continue to work. They continue to work while your mind, that subtle aspect which is called mind, withdraws from the matter, but matter itself is also very intelligent. And those things are retained in the matter and the organs continue to take the brunt of what, or enjoy the feelings the way you have been in the phase when you were entering sleep. Understand? That is why we are told that we should be completely free of all the tensions while we go to sleep. And when you have not gone to sleep completely relaxed, but loaded with one or the other negative emotion, you will recognize when you get up next day that you have not gotten good sleep. So you continue to sleep. What has happened? You don't remember that you were lying on the bed. That means it is sleep. Right? That is, by definition, it is sleep only. Abhava pratyayalambana. You don't recognize that you were there. So it is sleep. But what is the quality of it? You recognize only when you come out of it. And it depends a lot how you began that process. So a lot can be said about sleep. I'm not getting into it. And if you will want, later on someday, one session we can devote to it. How to sleep, what to do, and what not to do, how to utilize that period of sleep for your own growth. Next is memory. Memory is anubhuta vishaya, asampramosha smriti. Anubhuta Vishaya Sampramoshah Smriti. Which means memory is that vritti of mind where the perceived objects, sensations, etc. do not die. They come back. You recognize them being here and now while they are not there. What is different in Vikalpa and Smriti then? Vikalpa was imagination.
Yes.
Abhava, there also the abhava means the absence of object was there, right? Sabda jnana anupati, vastu shunya vikalpa. Again, vastu shunya, abhava was there. Here also, in the absence of object, you are creating objects, but you are calling it a different vritti, and you're calling it smriti. Is it not almost the same? The
No,
only
actually, there's
difference
a, yeah.
The only difference is that there is one stamp, having seen, quality passed, QC checked. It was in your store, right? See, what you experience at that moment, vikalpa is that faculty of your mind which is able to recycle, deform, do permutation combinations of what you know, right? Let me tell you, you cannot imagine what you have not seen so far. You may say that, no, but science fiction people imagine this way, that way. They are again improvising on what they have seen, or going completely against to what they know. You see, your mind has this capacity to imagine exactly opposite to what you have experienced, right? So if somebody moves through the road to reach a place, now the movement, and now you move by a vehicle on a road, they say, we remove it all. And therefore, the person moves from here to there, in between nothing. So you'll say, see how much imagination he did. He only removed what was there in absence of it, right? Right or not? So many things you improvise, and two things you know that you can, the TV was, for that matter, the TV was there, television, transmission was there, telephone was there. Now a science fiction may say, I have a telephone through which I can see. So you may say, oh, what a new idea. But what has he done? Only clubbed the two things which he knew. Right or not? Understand? So vikalpa means what? Recycling, modifying, adding, subtracting, deleting, multiplying of what you know. You can't think what you don't know. Can you think of something which you don't know? Can intelligence work there? Can mind work there in the field of unknown? Mind is the matter of known. Mind only gets applied what is known, right? So anubhuta vishaya. Now this is the only difference in vikalpa and smriti. Vikalpa means imagination, smriti means memory. This is the only difference. That this is also being presented in your current mind space without the object being there, but having experienced it earlier. Now in vikalpa or imagination, this is also having been experienced earlier, now you are modifying it. Is it right? Understood not? Vikalpa
So,
means
Acharya ji,
imagination.
yeah, I have a question. Even memory can be distorted because how?
See, memories become distorted because you don't revise them so often.
Mhm.
Okay. They will not get distorted if they are revised each day. Okay. So, yes, I will say that yes, we should work on our memories in a positive way, because memory, when they create a suffering, they create exactly as any imagination does. The only difference between the memory and imagination is memory is exactly what has been experienced. Imagination is multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and a mod probability of what you have experienced.
Recreation.
Correct or not? Look at it. What you need to learn is that these two things are almost the same. Correct or not? And I'll later on, those who are attending Shiva Sutra practical sessions, I'm going to teach them technique. Don't worry. I'm going to teach them technique to deal with the memories. Right? It's possible. Because both are the same. Memory and imagination, both are almost the same. So is it clear what is smriti? What is memory? Memory is anything what you have experienced so far. Means memory can be of deep sleep. Memory can be of your imagination. Memory can be of your delusion, viparya. Memory can be of your direct experience, pramana. So everything combined, having experienced, gotten down to your what you call a storehouse. From there, when it comes to this mind space, is known as memory. So every vritti which has been learned so far will come in smriti. Correct? And therefore, it's difficult to deal with the smriti. And also, the smritis are the most powerful drivers because they are the collection of all. Okay. It's only the collection of smritis in our physicality which has become exhibit. The energy which the prana, which we call the prana, has gone through so many body forms, life forms, and learned something. The smriti is there. Therefore, it becomes capable of driving such a complicated, sophisticated instrument called human body. It started learning from the amoeba, single cell. And then it, through the smriti factor only, it continues to learn. And it is said that there are 8.4 million, 84 lakh, as per our understanding, scriptures, 84 lakh jivas, the type of jivas through which the prana goes and continues to learn to reach that highest level wherefrom it becomes capable of operating in such sophisticated arrangement which is called human body. Right? So smriti is powerful, the most powerful. But anything which is powerful, if it turns against you, look at it, it is going to annihilate you. It is going to destroy you. So what we need to do? We need to learn to tame our smritis, memories. We learn to modify. We learn to regroup, rearrange our memories. We need to learn to churn away what is not needed. We need to learn to shred what is not needed. And we need to revise, enhance, and of course empower and repolish what is useful. Okay. We'll talk about that in our program. But for this Yoga Sutra session, I think this is enough, that you must know how to manage your smritis. You should be able to say no to what you don't want to relish and enjoy or suffer. You should be straight away able to say that, no, I don't want you to be popping up now so often. You make me suffer. I don't want you. Go back. Thank you. Thank you. Next, please. Okay. But this is again possible if you do not become the smriti. Vritti sarupya doesn't happen. You don't get identified and become smriti, become memory, right? So all the times we have to learn to refrain from coming in vritti sarupya. The awareness of our presence has to be established whatever and wherever we are and whatever we are doing. Right? Is it clear?
आचार्य जी, आपने शायद एक चीज मेंशन की थी बहुत पहले, तो that is the way probably to do that, for that when we enter that vritti, we become aware and we maintain that awareness. Is that the way that we don't become the vritti itself?
See, you are not your vrittis.
Yeah.
So you don't have to even learn to create awareness and be in it. You just be. Vrittis are not you. They are the modifications of mind. You are not the mind. Okay. So why are you bothering about it?
No, Acharya ji, you were saying
You
that
just, no, you just be. I'm telling you,
Okay.
you just be. You just be. That means your own presence should be reclaimed. That's it. Other things will continue to happen.
Mhm.
You are not trying to change the mind.
I see.
You are allowing the mind to function the way, but your own presence you claim there. I am here. You continue to work. Just like a class teacher in the class, and so much noise is there, and suddenly somebody comes running. Class, ma'am is coming, ma'am is coming. Everyone quiets. The class is quiet now. Ma'am has not yet come. The class is quiet. In the same way, your mind is that unruly class. Idhar ka vichar, udhar ka vichar, this thought, that thought, this memory, this imagination. Ma'am is coming. You are that ma'am. You should be there. Right? You are the monitor. What do? You depute a monitor. You become the monitor. Okay. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Can I talk?
Sure.
I know. Actually, I'm a person that I don't have a good sleep. And but I was thinking about the imagination and memory that you said. At the first, I was thinking maybe you mentioned, because I think I heard that you said even imagination we have seen before.
Mm.
Am I right? Yeah. So I was thinking maybe you mean in the other life, the past life, that we had. Maybe you mean that. I could accept that, but when I realized I couldn't understand how can, because imagination for me it's something I just create. Even I have an example. Yeah, maybe I imagine. Oh, I wish I could live in live in a nature somewhere small, something. Yeah, nature is there. I have memory from the nature, but I don't have any memory for what I'm doing there. I create what I'm doing there, maybe. So I just a little confused, a little bit. Sorry
Okay.
for explaining.
Okay, no problems, no problem. Good question. It's a personal experience. So maybe our observation, the way maybe you have skipped one or two steps in evaluating it. When you say, I want to create something, imagination is not what I have seen earlier and what I know. Yes? Right, Farah? You say, imagination is about something where I use my creativity. Correct?
Yeah, correct,
And not about what I already know. Correct?
correct.
Okay. Give me an example and then I'll try to demonstrate that whatever you create is based on what you already know. Please give me an example what you want to create. Go wildest in your imagination and create a scenario for us. Maybe just narrate one or two, three key features of that scenario which you want to create using all your creativity. And then let us understand whether it uses any of the elements which are already known or they are all new, never ever experienced previously. Anybody? Yeah, try. Everybody, please try that. Try. Naren, you can also try. Ekta, you can also try. Create something. Be creative, as much as creative you can be. Create a scenario, a product, a situation, whatever, and tell that to us so that we can all collectively find out whether it has the element of known or it is something which is completely unknown, not experienced as yet. Okay,
Yeah.
let's try.
Yeah. Maybe later. Maybe yeah. We
Yeah,
can.
you try, please.
Just
Farah, you
something
will
came to
begin.
my mind right now. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking it would be example that I imagine when I have a good sleep, what happened, because from the childhood maybe something happened. I don't know what happened. I know maybe it was in the war or something. So I can create something that if I have a good sleep at night, even for 4 or 5 hours constantly, I imagine myself that I have a lot of energy. I can do anything. That lack of the sleep happened to me. So it's a simple personal example, but I will think about what you asked really.
Okay, I will definitely talk about it.
Yeah, because there is
And
a
I
lot
think
of.
I have already covered it in a way. Anybody else would like to add to what Farah said, that yeah, I can imagine things which I'm not experiencing as yet. I can create a good place for my living. I'm not living in nature. Let's say I'm imagining that I'm living in nature. I don't have money, but let's say I can have a lot of money in my imagination, and so on and so forth. Anybody else?
Acharya-ji, we
Yeah.
see so many cartoons in TV. They are all talking about the aliens. We never saw an alien, but they have picture, they have body, they do something. How does it come from? Where does it come from?
See, whatever you know, as I said, when you should understand clearly what I meant by that. Now, Farah is little okay in saying that, yeah, I am creating what I don't know, what I have not experienced. But look at it, the elements and components which she is using are all known to her. For example,
Ye-
she knows that sleep exists, it is in her experience. She knows the duration, time, whether how long sleep can be, whether it can result in good or bad, or high or low. High and low, she knows. Energy, she knows. Sleep, she knows. Everything, whatever language she has used, she already knows. She has not used anything which she does not know in describing what it is. Look at it. So she knows everything. Only thing what she has changed, either she has changed the quantity of it, or the quality of it, or the permutation combination of it. That is what I meant. Creativity is recycling, rearranging, changing the size or quality of what you already know, using them in different sequence. Agdas, your answer is, the question to your answer is also the same. All the people who are creating so-called caricatures, aliens, etc., etc., are they not using the same shapes, same lines, same faculties which we already have? In aliens also, they create only those things which we have, or absence of it, or more of it. Please understand. The creativity is the creativity which is of mind. There are two levels of creativity, by the way. Two levels of creativity, which we'll come to, because currently we are understanding chitta vrittis, mind, the one which are created inside mind. Inside mind, you only do rejig of what you already know. You can rearrange it, you can elongate it, you can shorten it, you can make one thing bigger, one thing shorter. You can completely eliminate something, that's okay. But you will always be thinking in terms of only what you know.
What
What
about
you
the
know
scientists?
what you
Scientists,
know
they
yeah.
understand the Earth is not just a soft plane; it is oval. How did they understand? Or the light? They understood that the light is just moving like a wave, not directly.
See, when you
Or there
describe
is neutron, or there is proton. How they got to this point?
Agdas, what you are saying is, I understand. What did I say? Imagining something, I'm talking of imagination, okay? When you're saying, when you use that life, the earth, let's say, earth is not a flat surface, it is in shape of a ball, okay? In a sphere, right? Yes, this is what you are understanding. You're saying that
Yes.
scientists discovered it, okay? Do you know that earth exists? Yes, it is in my experience. Do you know the shape sphere? Yes, it exists in my understanding. Do you know the surface flat yet exists in my understanding? What am I doing in my imagination, or maybe in my postulation? I am adding all these three with a particular object. All things which I have used already I know. Flat I know, oval I know, earth I know. What I don't know. This is what is creativity or postulation, that I have imposed all what I know to what, to wherever I like. This is creativity.
Doing that.
Please understand. Does it make sense or not? You do only what you know. You can't do anything which you don't know. You can't think which you don't know.
And the first creature, they got their understanding through the experience, right?
Yeah, whatever. Yes, let's say they have conducted so many experiments. Somebody has taken a voyage across the globe by continuously rowing on the oceans after oceans. When they reach the same place, they recognize this has to be. So look at it. Their understanding comes only through experience. That experience is already direct experience, pramana. You don't need to imagine. You see, something which you imagine, You have the element of that word. You can't word a sentence for me in which new word comes. Can you tell me any sentence in which some new word comes? If the word exists in your mind, then anything you say is already known to you.